All right. All right, I think we're live. I think so. Yeah, definitely. Right, so if you're watching this, thank you very much for tuning in. This is what I hope will be the beginning of something pretty cool, where I'm planning on going on YouTube Live 3 times a week to get to help you, really, to help 1 million entrepreneurs become remarkable. Because this channel is all about really helping entrepreneurs get to the next level and help spreading the word and the belief about entrepreneurship. Because a lot of people will live their life of quiet desperation, not doing much in their life, not achieving much, and I think that's a real loss of human capital. In economics, it's called human capital, and I think that's a real loss of human potential. You can do so much in life, and yet most people live their life what is called a life of quiet desperation. And I just think it's a bit of a disappointment. There's so much opportunity out there for entrepreneurship, technology, software. There's so much opportunity out there, yet people don't take it, and it's a bit of a letdown. And as people who are now in the 60s and 70s and 80s and all that, and they're not living their life to their full potential, and they could do so much more. And we're going to grow to the age of 100. People are growing older and older, and I just think it's a real shame that people will live their entire life and don't live it to the max. They don't live it to the full potential. They don't do something really cool with their life, and I really want to change that. I really want to help people to understand entrepreneurship, what it's all about, what it means for them, and help 1 million entrepreneurs become remarkable. I say 1 million because it's a good way of thinking big and thinking big. So it's like people are amazed by that. It's a way of thinking big in general, because if you think big, you can achieve more. And it's a way of testing myself as well. Let's stretch, expand the comfort zone, expand experience. I want to do this, I want to do that, or how can I do this, and tweak and learn. And it's like, well, people say it's easier to think big than it is to think small. So this is going to be the beginning. So what I'm planning is 3 times a week, on Sunday, maybe Wednesday, and another day I'm not quite sure, maybe a Friday, not too sure yet, or maybe Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, something like that. We'll look into doing YouTube Live, because it's a good way of building engagement, and it's like, that's what I want to do. Furthermore, do it based around subscriber Q&A, talking about what your problems are, talking about in the world, and talking about your businesses, things like that. I might slowly over time branch into other things, such as what's it called, into like reviews, like of your website, of your business, the layout, the business model, the structure, things like that. I know a fair amount of e-commerce, but mostly psychology. In fact, I'm writing a book right now on psychology, and this is my 2nd official book. It is to do with creating content that people cares about, creating content for your business that people can share with the world, so your customers can love. Love your content. It's about creating content that your customers love, not just like creating any old content, like defining your audience from a psychographic, as well as like what it's called from crossing the chasm, different and that angle, and defining exactly who it is you're aiming. Define exactly who it is you're aiming for, and then creating content that fits them perfectly, so that they are thankful for you talking about that, and they're thankful for you sharing some advice with them. Because the way I see it is like that AIDA thing, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. I think there is one before that, and also one after that, but the one before that is dialogue, and dialogue is essentially meaning that your customers out in the world, and or would-be customers that you haven't really considered them as like in the target audience, these would-be customers are in the world. They're reaching out for you, like, help me, give me advice. They're searching for stuff, whether YouTube, Google, etc. They're looking for stuff. They're searching, and they can't always find the answer. And the quote, I can't remember who. Oh, some Canadian hockey guy said, "You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take." So when they're reaching out into the world trying to find you, and you're not there, giving a hand, saying, "Here I am," here's the information. Here's that question and answer. Here's the answer to the question you've got. If you're not there, if you're not seen, yeah, Bitcoin has a lot of potential. Bitcoin is the answer is Bitcoin. Technium Unlimited. In what context? To what problem? To what question? I believe it has a lot of potential as a paradigm shift. Interestingly enough, about a few months ago, I didn't believe in it. I thought it was more a case of a greater fool kind of thing, where it's like, oh, this person will buy it at $2 when you buy it at $1, that kind of thing. But also, I remember in 2014, it was $197, and I didn't know much about it back then at all. I understood it in general, but I didn't understand what it meant, like politically and much more deeper level. So Bitcoin is fascinating. But what do you mean? Answer to what exactly? Technium. I'm very curious. So anyway, this book that I'm working on is, as I said, creating essentially how to create content that your customers love, because people out there are searching for answers, and these answers in one way or another relate to what your business is, and it's down to you, I think, to create content that your customers can find, and there's a link, or there's a cross sell, or it's part of your website, and then they just go onto your website. They go into the website, or they subscribe to you, or it builds watch time, stuff like that. It's fascinating. 6 minutes in, curious. Right. Okay. So anyway, I'm thinking of doing this broadcast 3 times a week. Sunday definitely, probably around 6 p.m. Sunday GMT, because Sunday's a good time to. Sunday's good engagement. I don't have much plans always on a Sunday either. So you do stuff on a Sunday, and it's like, well, let's talk, let's share. I'm thinking also Wednesday, probably around 6 p.m. or something like that as well. Not too sure. Probably Tuesday then. Keep it nicely spaced out throughout the week. A Tuesday, and then probably a Thursday after that. Probably around this time again, or later, something on the lines of that. It helps with getting engagement, helps with getting attention and traction. So unfortunately, right now, I've barely had one other person in here, which is fine. We'll look into that. But anyway, we're going to continue growing this channel. It's just about getting more content, creating more stuff that's to do with the audience. We've got a podcast, started that recently. That podcast is all about talking to people who are doing remarkable things in their life, talking about them, what their story is, what their journey is, what their business is, what difference do they want to make in the world, just all about them, because you never know what you're gonna learn or discover. I've learned a few things already from that, and also it's a good way to get the what I personally call the Oprah Winfrey effect, where. What is Oprah Winfrey famous for? Nothing, not much really. She's got what's the company name? Harpo, which is her name spelt backwards, Productions. But she's famous for interviewing loads of people, and what that means is that it's a halo effect. So if I've interviewed all these famous people and all these other famous people, their reputation spills onto me, and when the reputation spills onto me, my personal reputation is enhanced. So people then start, and that compounds and grows over time, consistency and all the rest. And over time, people will start to recognize and realize that for them to be famous, they have to appear on the Oprah Winfrey Show. So if you create a podcast, one, you're building connections. You're meeting people, you're talking to people, you're building a relationship with other potential business partners. That's why you've got to keep in touch with them as well. And also, the Oprah Winfrey effect, which is essentially just a halo effect. Their reputation spills onto you. So, for example, if I were to interview Richard Branson, his reputation would spill onto me. And also, it's a cheeky thing as well, but it's legit nonetheless, because you're helping them, interviewing them, for example, and they share it with their community. Their community can find you and come over to your platform. So it's mutually beneficial, and that's what it's all about. I would love to have you on the show, talk all about you, because people also like to talk about themselves. People like to talk about themselves, and the longer you can get them talking about themselves, the better. Because when someone's talking to you and you listen, you ask a few questions here and there, sure, but the majority of the time they're talking. 80% of the time, they think you're a good listener, and people love people love talking about themselves. So, and when you listen, they think you're a good listener. It's pretty cool that way. This didn't get as many views as I thought it would get. 10 minutes in, all right. Okay, I get probably another 10 or so minutes. See what happens. So this book that I'm working on right now, started it. This is my second book. My first book was about psychology and marketing. It was the 50 cognitive biases. The title was 50 cognitive biases for an unfair advantage in entrepreneurship, and it was essentially talking about how to use different cognitive biases in businesses. So, like, you know, authority and liking, reciprocity, and a few other things. And there's a few others, but what I realise now is that I can condense all of that roughly into what I call LARCS, LARCSS, which is like the 6 ways of basics of persuading people. So LARCSS, which is an acronym for liking, authority, reciprocity, consistency, social proof, and scarcity. So what that means is, liking is when you like someone, regardless who that person may be, you ignore their flaws and their shortcomings. And we like people that are either like ourselves or someone we want to be. So the more you can find people that are if more people you can find that want to be like you, just building an audience, I suppose. They will eventually like you and they'll ignore your shortcomings. And also, if you admit your flaws, people don't really care. You know, this is what makes Game of Thrones so popular. I've been doing a bit of research into this. This is what makes Game of Thrones so popular because the characters have got flaws. They've got flaws in their own way. You know, Tyrion is a dwarf, and Jon is a bastard. So everyone's got their own flaws, and we always root for the underdog. So if you build a liking, people are bound to ignore your flaws, which is great. So authority is very interesting. Authority is essentially just being seen in places that are like hard to get to or hard to reach to, or being perceived as an authority. There's a good video that I reference in my book, which is a video by Mark Dice from February 2014 or 13. There's a link in the book, and he talks about, he's at a crossroads or a T-junction in the States, and he's got a hard hat and a yellow high-vis on, and whenever there's a red light, he waves to the cars, says, come on by, and the cars ignore the red light and they just go straight over the red light. And of course Mark is looking both ways, there's no other cars coming at the green light, but because people see him as a figure of authority purely for his perception, and perception is wearing the yellow high-vis and the hard hat. I don't think he might have had a piece of paper on a clipboard. You might have had that. I don't think you did. But if you got that and you're wearing like steel-tipped shoes, and maybe if you're wearing like hard-wearing jeans and an overcoat or something, the perception is reinforced, and people really think that you are in a position of authority. So authority is one way of doing damn good persuasion. Reciprocity is interesting. I quite like that one. Reciprocity, I think, is probably the most scalable. Reciprocity is essentially you give stuff, videos, content, ideas, research, things like that to the world. Share, give, share, and people will, without the anticipation of getting anything in return, people will return the favor. You're essentially guilt tripping them into buying from you or to doing something, because when you share stuff, you give. People think, oh wow, thanks a lot, and it starts to build up, and it's like, oh, I should really get something back, or it's done a lot for me, I should do something back for him. So my analogy with that is, create more than you consume. So if you create more content, if you share more ideas, do more stuff for people, whether it's like directly or indirectly, like, you know, if you do charitable stuff, or even if you teach people like on live or on videos or writing books or things like that, or do live broadcast or anything, the more you give to the world, the more you're going to get back. Zig Ziglar has a very interesting quote that I like, which is the more to get what you want in life, you have to give people what they want first. So, for example, if a baker that bakes bread, he wants to get rich. Okay, how does he get rich? Well, you can either scam people and trip people over, financially, which will work in the short term, but people will catch on, which is the free market. Or he can give people what they want, which is bread, based on his skills, because he can do anything. But in this case, the division of labour, he might be better off just selling bread. So the more bread he gives to the world, the more he's going to get back. The more I've got loaves of bread, yet a shortage of cash. These people have got plenty of cash, but a shortage of bread. Let's swap. So reciprocity. So the way again, create more than you consume. So create daily content, podcasts, live videos. And I'm thinking of doing these 3 times a week or 2 times a week, depending on logistics and timeline and all the rest. So LARC. So commitment. Yeah, commitment. Commitment's interesting because if you can get commitment is essentially saying that if people, especially publicly, can say that they're a certain character. I don't know. If you can play on people's reputation, people's characteristics, then you can persuade them to do stuff. Like in London in the Underground, when people, when the Underground tube train is there, and people are getting on the getting into the train and off the train, people are often in the way and messing around, and the people that work on the Underground will go on the loudspeakers, and say things like clear the way or keep left or stuff like that. But I've always thought, why don't they say something like, come on Londoners, everyone knows we're supposed to be polite, we've got a reputation to uphold, everyone knows Londoners are nice and polite, so keep left, let the people get off the train first, then get on it. Come on Londoners, stop messing around, I thought you were smarter than this. By playing on people's reputation, you can persuade them by almost like guilt tripping them into thinking, oh yeah, he's right, I am like that. That's me. Yeah, I've got a reputation to uphold. So if you play on that, they're trying to be consistent and they're trying to commit to what they already are, or they're trying to be consistent. The kind of slight difference to this is if someone publicly declares something, whether directly or indirectly, or if you kind of like trick them into it or whatever, they will they'll feel more obliged to follow through what they said. For example, I think it was the 2003. Yeah, it was 2003. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King announcement or trailer or something like that. I think pre-production of the film. Peter Jackson, the director, got one of the producers to the film on stage in public in New Zealand. New Zealand. He got him on stage. He was to come on stage, mate. And he came on. Peter Jackson set up the scene, saying that we're gonna have original sound score, original soundtrack. And he invited the producer onto the stage to speak in the microphone, and to confirm it. And the producer knew beforehand he was not going to do that. We were not going to have an original soundtrack or something like that. And he came on, went to the stage, and publicly said, "Yes, we are. We're going to have an original soundtrack." And then at that point, he felt like, "Oh, I've got to do it now." So he felt more obliged. So Peter kind of tripped him over. Yeah, a little bit of, not deception, but a little bit of clever stuff to get the guy to agree to what he wanted. So that's consistency. Consistency is interesting. I think that's just largely playing on people's reputation. Scarcity, L-A-R-C, scarcity. L-A-R-C, so scarcity and social proof. So scarcity is essentially saying that there's only 10 of these in existence. I'm only going to be around until next Monday, or we're not going to be here until, okay, no, you're not going to be here again until next year, or it's only once a year, or only 10 available in existence. You see, the fewer things there are something, that the less time someone's got, or the fewer gold there is in the world, the more valuable it is, simply because there's a limited amount of it, and there's a recognised need for it. Because I'm confident that there's some elements in the world that are quite scarce, but the value is useless. And mud is quite abundant, but no one really cares about it. So the more scarce something is, the more valuable it is. If, the say on a Monday, it started raining pure gold leaves, like flecks of gold, flakes even, not flecks, started raining that, people will be outside with buckets trying to collect as much as they can. But after 40 days of raining gold, people will be sweeping it out of their house with brooms and getting rid of it because it's too much. It's no one cares. Oh yeah, another ton, another gram, another kilogram of that gold. No one cares. So the more abundant something is, the less valuable people perceive it as. Whereas, the rarer things are. So last one is social proof. Now we're essentially herd mentality animals. So we will follow the crowd. So for example, McDonald's a few years ago had, I don't think they still have it, probably some places, a sign outside or underneath the Golden Arch saying billions and billions served. That was essentially saying that we have served so many people that it's safe here. We're a herd mentality. We will follow the crowd. That's worth remembering. We'll follow the crowd, and if these people are already doing it, we will follow suit. We will go with them. You know, we feel more comfortable. There's more people. There's that thing with the two restaurants. If there's one restaurant that's got loads of people, it's bustling and busy, and one that's empty, people would always choose that one, which is interesting because I remember I heard this analogy about a year ago, and I always said the empty one because there's like quicker service and like it's quieter and it's like, you know, a bit more elbow room, and it's like no, the full one. But why? It's the chefs are busy, the waiters are like busy, you know, everyone's cramped. It's gonna be loud, you know. No. Oh well. Excuse me, if anything, Andy K. Shaw. Probably excuse me. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one to start with. What do you think to that? Well, what would you say? So the restaurants. So social proof. No, mate. No. So the restaurants. Where was I now? Hold on a split second. Oh yeah. So the more people there are on a certain path or a certain. Yes, I have Andy K. Shaw years ago though. Years ago. So the more people there are on a certain path, the more we're willing to follow it, and more we are willing to go there as well, because we feel it's safe, we feel it's a well-trodden path. You know, it's not something new or foreign or something we don't know or something not experienced before. Because new things we don't really want to get involved with new things because it's unproven. You know, it's like not like a million people have gone this way and it's just oh yeah, that route again, whatever. But the more people that are going down this certain path, then the more trusted it is. So I see we're getting two other people in here now. That's pretty cool. I'm going to start doing live broadcast on YouTube once or twice or thrice a week. Yeah, mate. Yes, mate. And yes, I said that earlier. No worries. So I'm going to do a YouTube live. Once or twice a week, Sunday and probably on Tuesday or Thursday. I'm not quite sure just yet. Probably Sunday, definitely. No, I've not watched any of the films. No. So I would do Sunday around 6 p.m. That's GMT. So 6 p.m. it will be like midday. It'll be roughly 2 p.m. in Florida, I believe, and it'll be roughly 11 a.m. in California, or 10 a.m. California. I'm not sure. Not delete. You know, no, I will not delete this live stream. Well, this is the first time I've been on the live stream, so I'm confident I can just end it, and it should it should then just load up automatically on YouTube. I'm confident. I'm pretty sure that's the case. 10-20 minutes after after I've stopped streaming. So I'm gonna do YouTube live. Simpsons, yes, mate. Although not for a long time. Then I don't know. After like season, I don't know. Yes, I have, but not in years and years. 10 odd plus years. Yes, I was in Washington D.C. for that one. Yeah, for the Simpsons movie. Yeah. I remember when the Homer made the joke about entering America or leaving America as they're entering Alaska. Some American guy in front of me laughed out loud, you know, like "ha," really loud, and like there's only like 10 people in the actual cinema. I'm pretty sure we watched it like a few weeks after it was released because it was quite empty. But I was in DC for that, August 2007. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, 10 years ago. But anyway, I'm going to do YouTube live, build a connection, build engagement, build reputation, some good watch time. It's a good way of building subscribers, and, you know, stuff like that. And you know, you've got questions and answers with regards to entrepreneurship, with regards to business, with regards to business and entrepreneurship, like what this channel is about. Someone on my podcast, the guy who I recorded episode 1 with, Nitin. The one with the startup culture, tips on branding and the startup culture in India. he asked me earlier about his business. He has some he was very curious about it, and I wanted my advice on it, and he's talking about how we can expand it, and I was talking about different kind of products he could sell. I used to watch Keenan and Kel years ago. This is like 2002 odd, 2001 odd. So he wanted my opinion, and I recommended him crowdfunding. And I said to him, ask for $20,000 and say you're going to expand into international, because he's getting around 90,000 people a month. I'm not quite sure, but it didn't explain what percentage of those are returning and new visitors. So that bit of data was important. So he wanted to grow the business, and I recommended him. Four kinds of products. There are like 4 ways to monetize products. 3 free products, something for free, like this broadcast, to build relationships, build community, build trust. You also want cheap products that are, 10 years ago, I remember, it was late August 2007 when I saw the film. I was in Washington DC. I remember. Yeah, I remember, 10 years ago. Gone by fast, mate. So cheap products, things that are low value but high volume. And that's essentially just what's called product for prospects. Sell something cheap that can essentially help you get some cash in, get some reputation building. No merchandise. Get some cash in, get some merchandise, get some momentum going. And then the one after that will be the expensive products. And these are like, I think it's products for clients. And this is essentially high value, low volume. So that means, you sell it once or twice or thrice a week and you've made a nice tidy profit. And by the way, as a side note, the cheaper product is ideal if that product is automatically shipped and delivered. Terrible, Andy. That's a terrible one. Yes, mate. Yes. Yeah. So the one after that is, I think, the probably most ideal is subscription, and that essentially saying that 100 people or so paying you £10 a month or £100 a month, month after month. That's good for the cash flow, good for the balance sheet, good to keep the accountant happy. And it also has a reliable cash flow coming into the business, which can really help you further down the line. So those are the ways. So there's some of the things I recommended to him. Like I said, well, why not some people pay? Yes, I used to have a lot of nosebleeds actually, Andy. Yeah, interesting questions. So I said to him, why not just say things like, if you want to read 5+ articles, charge for that as a premium membership or something. It's in India, so I'm not sure, 100 rupees, something like that. I don't know. I don't know, 10 quid, the equivalent of that over there, or something like that. I also recommended that, because he's interviewing these people, like sending the text, because he's just like get an email and fill in the questions, and it's like, well, why not interview the person as well as a podcast? Get some momentum going there, SEO and something else to share, and more online presence. And it's like, well, yeah, there's loads of ideas you could do. There's loads of ideas and different ways of expanding and growing a business. Yeah, so this is good. We're half an hour in almost, 28 minutes, 33 odd seconds. Well, one person's just left actually, so that's a bit of a letdown. I'm not quite sure who's in here now, but that's all right. So anyway, I want to do YouTube live 1 to 3 times a week. Probably, well, definitely on Sunday, and probably then on Tuesday. I mean, I would like Wednesday, but once a month I've got prior commitments on Wednesdays that I'll be busy. Roughly this time of the day, so it's not really ideal. Sunday definitely. There might be the odd occasion where I'm doing Sunday, some stuff. But if I do reoccurring on my calendar, then it shouldn't be a problem. I'm thinking Tuesday, but the only problem then is Sunday. It's like a two day gap, and it's like that's not really. Thursday, there's a 2-day gap again. Wednesday, but probably Thursday. Oh, well, that's sad. No, Thursday then. Probably Thursday because people can consume the content and they're talking about it on Friday, and they're more likely to also be talking about it on Saturday as well, which I think is quite good for word of mouth. Sunday definitely, because I think the engagement, especially, well, ideally, like if it was like 10 p.m. here, because you can get the engagement in America, it will be through the roof. Don't know the exact details. Probably have to do a bit more research into that. But certainly on Sunday. But at the very least, 2 times, at the very least once a week. I say, if it was a perfect world, I'd say every day this time of the day. But that's a little too impractical. Well, we'll see. I mean, like, this is relatively unsuccessful, or relatively successful. This and that, not what I imagined. Or one person right now, which is pretty cool. I think at most I had 3, and weirdly enough, it always says at least 1, which includes me. So, unless something changes in the next 3 or so minutes, I'm gonna get going. Other things to do. I wanted to do this broadcast now, just to do it, get started with it, not to waste time, not to think about it too much. Because like I can think about it, yeah, sure, and it's like I can do this or that, but it's like, let's do it. A little bit of research, software, etc., and it's like, okay, let's do it, but let's do it on a Sunday when engagement in theory is a lot higher. Let's push it, Let's not just be twiddling thumbs forever and saying, oh, I want to do the live broadcast, but it's like, when should we do it? Okay, let's do it Sunday, and this is like Wednesday, I think. So it's like, let's do it Sunday. I mean, like, in a perfect world, I would have done it like 10-20 minutes after I did the bit of research, but hey, better late than never. So check out the channel. Check out the other videos. This channel is all about entrepreneurship, all about teaching you how to be smarter in business, helping my vision. My purpose is to help 1 million entrepreneurs become remarkable. So that's the whole vision behind the business, behind this channel. So right now I'm working on the podcast. That's more or less every day now. I've got no tomorrow, 0 tomorrow, but Tuesday I think I got 5 to record, which is that's gonna be interesting. And then I'm gonna clean it all up and get it ready. But I have got enough content. I have got about 8 more videos to record. I've done 8 videos today, and tomorrow or today, whatever, we'll see how I feel. I want to record 8 more videos. Thanks a lot. Oh, Reliable Andrew, thanks a lot. But I've got 8 more videos to record. 8 more videos, and these 16 videos, 8 today, 8 tomorrow, or I don't know, today, 2 more today, whatever, will bring me up to early September. I say every now and then do 2 weeks worth of content as a bulk. I mean, ideally a month, or ideally a year, but that's a lot of logistics to ask for. Because I want to keep up the habit of content daily, content every day, because the YouTube algorithm loves it, and we also love novelty. We like new things all the time. So if there's always something new, it's like, oh, tell me more. What's that? Whereas if it's like a week ago, it's like, yeah, okay. It's like, yeah, not very often. And also new subscribers, when they come to the channel and they realise an upload 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3, 4, 5 days ago, or just today, just now or today, then it's like, great. That means his channel is active and consistent. And the more you create, the YouTube algorithm loves it, because when you upload something, they promote it. There's a few variables called viewer velocity, and a few other factors like the comments and the likes. But the viewer velocity is a big variable in the algorithm. So they promote the video for 7 days after you've posted it. I'm not quite sure why 7, a week, but I don't quite know why in general. But what one of the biggest factors they look at is how many views did the video get in the first 24 to 48 hours in relation, as a percentage in relation to your total subscribers. Now this is the thing. This is the problem I had with this channel when I first. See, this channel originally started in 2008, and I uploaded some video game stuff and some Winston Churchill speeches from then up until, and they were deleted in April. And in that time span, it accumulated around 423 subscribers. And these people subscribed to me for different reasons, games or Winston Churchill stuff. Okay, that's fine. But then I'm starting to create content based around on entrepreneurship, about marketing and business, and a smidgen of finance. So YouTube takes the video, uploads it, and shares it with these subscribers, these 423 subscribers, and then these people don't watch the video. So YouTube then thinks, oh, okay, his subscribers don't care, they don't want it. So YouTube then drops the video like a stone. Then it adds the millions and millions of videos, or whatever, thousands of piles of other videos that are just forgotten about on YouTube, in the dark crevices of YouTube. It's forgotten about. So I had ideally, looking back in hindsight, maybe should have started a new channel. But I can't remember why I didn't do that. I think because I wanted to keep it all together on one channel where I can see all the comments, all the posts. So when I watch stuff on this channel, I can see it all there. I'm gonna fuck around with multiple channels, messing around. No. So the obstacle was keep creating content, free videos a day, create more, to essentially shake off those unwanted subscribers like a dog shakes off fleas. And then at the same time, take those content and share it on platforms. I started off with Reddit. Didn't get much success with that. But there's another platform that I'm using called Steemit. I'm getting a lot of success with that. Slow and steady, well, annoyingly slow, but steady and consistent growth on there, which is nice. I've got 142 followers, or 142 followers. I mean, I don't know, probably 20% of them are fake or inactive accounts or bots or something like that. But we'll see anyway. I don't think it's going to be anything worthwhile till you get to 1,000. And then it starts to get some real nice numbers. But nonetheless, I'm pushing through with this channel because I'm just essentially building a brand. I'm writing a book right now on marketing, building a brand. The way I see it is I know stuff, and Andrew, you know stuff as well, that people out in the world will pay for your knowledge. So it's like... share it with the world. Become known, liked, and trusted. People always tell me that I know some smart, cool stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, I agree. And then I should do it justice. I should share that with the world in one way or another. So I'm writing a book, writing it down, podcast to do what's called the halo effect, and to build connections. Creating content daily because we like novelty, and because why the hell not daily? You know, okay, once a week, or whatever. But why the hell not daily? You know, why the hell not daily? Just doing that stuff really, to get content out there, create more than I consume, build reputation, be known, liked, and trusted. Because trust these days are very invaluable, very very invaluable. You need to have a lot of trust in this world, and when you capture trust, especially online, because you're online, you can be discovered by the world. People will find you, and when you have a brand, when people know you, when people like you, when people trust you, you can go a long way with that. And I want to get into public speaking as well, to take everything I know and share it with the world. Because my mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs become remarkable. So that means really people that are existing entrepreneurs, take it to the next level, and/or people that want to be entrepreneurs, help them become entrepreneurs as well. Because as I said at the start of this video, it's like there's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of opportunity in the world. But people don't always realise that. People don't always take it. People are happy and content, and nothing wrong with this. They're happy and content to live a basic life. They're happy and content to live in mediocrity, and nothing wrong with that. There's 2 requirements in life: happy and competent. Nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I realised that that's not what I wanted a few years ago. I realised I was bigger than that. I realised I was more of a leader rather than a follower. So it's like, I'm gonna do something with this. I'm gonna push forward, and I'm gonna strive to become more and do more. And it's like what's called a regret minimization framework. This is a few years ago, age 21. I could project myself for 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 years into the future, and I could look back at 2014 and say, yeah, I would regret not starting a business. I would say to myself things like, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I become an entrepreneur? Why didn't I start a business? Why didn't I, write a book? Or why didn't I do this? Why? And it's like that kind of regret. It's regret through inaction. That regret would eat me away. And I could tell there and then, age 21, that age 100, Adrian at age 100 would regret that. And it's like, I don't want that. I do not want to have that, because everyone has regret more through inaction. So the way I see it now is what's called the 10 dark years. Work in age in the 20s. I'm 23 right now. So work, work, work. Strive, 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 and build, build, build. Do all the crap and hard work today, so tomorrow is slightly better, slightly richer, slightly easier, slightly less stressful, slightly better. I'm very long term. I am all for doing the work now and getting paid like tomorrow. I have two great sayings that I coined. Do the work once and get paid forever. So do the videos. I can get paid in different ways, either traffic or AdSense. AdSense is like icing on the cake, but traffic certainly, and watch time and subscribers. And there's a link to the books or other stuff like that. But then I also say, how can I be lazy? I don't know, how can I be ambitious but lazy? Meaning, I want to do all this crazy, really big stuff, ambitious, but then I also think, how can what's the most efficient, leverage, smart, delegated way of achieving that? With, what's the least amount of energy required to achieve just precisely what I want? It's like if I'm going to run a marathon, for example, I'm going to run 26 miles. I'm not going to run 27. I'm not going to run 28. You just need to run 26 miles exactly to win a marathon. To say you've run a marathon. Just the minimum amount of energy required, just to get precisely what you're after. So I think in that terms now. I want traffic, I want reputation, I want trust. Likes and trusted. I want to create content. So I think, how can I go about doing that? What can I do? So daily content, definitely. But then I say, let's bulk record it. I tried recording 3 videos a day. Oh, too much of a hassle. Ooh, too much of a habit. I remember waking up after a week thinking, oh god, this. So it's like, spend once every 2 weeks or once every week, or some schedule permitting, do two weeks worth of content. So like, get it out there and schedule it. So, and then also what I noticed, that at midnight, 5 minutes past midnight, for example, I can upload my stuff onto YouTube, and it's like, it's done for today, and it's like, great. That means that at night I can go to bed, and then I wake up at 9 AM or 10 or 7 or 6 or whatever, and it's like I got less stuff to do. See, I'm well on for long term. The more stuff I do now, the less crap I got to sort out later on, and it's like, that is beautiful. Less messing around tomorrow. Do the work now and get paid forever. Yeah, not fucking around and running around. Planet Sim. Not for long. Probably the next week. Probably the next week, or well, I don't want to put a date on it, but I will be shaving soon. I haven't shaved since end of May. So yeah, it'll be gone soon. So don't worry too much about that. But it'll be gone soon. I just wanted to grow it to see how long it could get, to see how it feels, see how long it takes to grow, see what happens. Just experiment. I'm just very curious. This is the longest it's ever been, and this is also the longest time that I've not shaved either. Just to experiment, see what happens, see how I feel. It's all right. It's not particularly what I want. Yeah, I think in the future keep it nice and short and trim. Just see what happens, just to experiment. People talk about beard and all the rest, but it's like, well, let's keep it long and see what happens. Just to experiment. I'm just very curious. So I want to do 2 or 3 times a week of a live broadcast, because the YouTube algorithm loves it, and a good way of building engagement. Certainly on a Sunday at 6 PM GMT or 7 PM GMT, preferably 6. Maybe 6. Then probably again on Thursday as well at 6 PM GMT, because Sunday the engagement should be really high. Most people are at home, for example, or they're not doing too much. Or midday, yeah, something like that, especially in the States, certainly in the UK. And on Thursday, if I do it Thursday night, or could do it Friday, no, not Friday, hell to that. Thursday, it's uploaded and ready, midday or 4 PM, say for example, or 3 PM in the States, and then people are talking about it for the next 2 or 3 days, and that leads on nicely into the weekend. And no way in hell to do it on a Friday, because socializing, on my podcast I started Friday just gone. I had two interviews at 6:30 till 8:30, 1 hour each, and it's like, made a mistake there. Should say on Fridays that I'm unavailable, because it's like I got a place to be, place to socialise, not messing around, record. Nothing wrong with it, but it's like this is not my ideal on a Friday night. Just do something else. So it's 44 minutes in, 45 in 2 seconds. I'll probably give this, I don't know, another 5 or so minutes. We'll see. Only one other person. Who else is in here, by the way? Who's the one other person? Andrew? Is Andrew still in here, or is it Planet Sim or Andy K Shaw? Who's in here? Who's the one person in here? I'm very curious, because I'm looking at YouTube, and it doesn't show. It shows me the time and a few of the data, but it only says who's. It only says 2 watching, but it doesn't say who's watching. $7.48. Okay, interesting. So yeah, and this is all new to me. This is the first time I've gone live, so apart from did a few tests, but this is proper stuff. So stream is healthy every now and then. Every now and then it did say things like there's resolution problems, but I'm not quite sure why that is the case. Okay, it doesn't say who's here. Not that I know of. Alright, no worries. No worries then. But yeah, twice a week, certainly. Thursday. I think that'll be a good way around it. Must jot that down before I forget. I have... So what I'm working on right now, I got a list of things to do. So after I finish this, probably take a break or something. Sunday, 6 PM. Thursday... 6 PM. So what I'm working on now is I got another 8 or so videos to record. I have a subscription to some software to cancel as well, and do this. This is the main thing I wanted to do, so I've sorted that out. I've got 8 or so more videos to record just to get ahead, just to make it easier for tomorrow or next week and all the rest. Right now I'm working on my book, and I'm working on that infrequently. Mainly at night, mainly in the afternoons or the evenings or at night time. I've almost finished the first draft. All the ideas are written down on a Word document. I had loads of ideas and notes and topics. So what I'm doing now is bringing it all together. Oh, hello Andrew. So right now I'm bringing all the notes, all the information together on content marketing and inbound marketing and psychology. Creating content that's perfect for your customers, that they love, that they consume and that they share. Because there's an analogy. You don't create the perfect product. Create the perfect products. Don't create the perfect can of soup. Create the perfect cans of soup. There's tomato soup, chicken soup, spicy tomato soup, so on and so forth. Because these products, tomato soup is going to be like, okay, whatever, sure, to everyone. But you create spicy tomato soup and creamy tomato soup, then suddenly those two products, the spicy one is perfect for this segment, this target audience, and the creamy is perfect for these audience over there. It's long tail. It's just going on scale, massive, scaled up on the long tail. My analogy is you own this domain and then own other subsequent domains as well. That's all around your business. And it's just all content marketing. Unfortunately, you've got to really love what you're doing, though, because if you don't love what you're doing, you can't passionately talk about the business or the products, and you can't passionately share the knowledge. As well as you need to talk about it for a long time as well. So this is a long-term strategy. It's not a short-term strategy. I tend to specialize more in long-term strategies rather than short-term strategies, because I've tried using things like Facebook Live, Facebook adverts, but struggled with that. I'm just doing it wrong. I'm just doing something wrong, and I'm missing the point, or I'm not quite sure what the problem is. But I'm just doing it wrong, admittedly. But I feel that long-term strategy is a hell of a lot more easier, probably because the way that brain works, or the personality type, or Myers-Briggs or Hexaco personality test says that I'm more just long-term thinking, long-term benefits, and just thinking, creating systems and logistics and creating distribution that benefits you or benefits me, benefits us or the company or whatever the setup is, long-term wise. Because back in October, just gone, I went to the British Library in London, and there was a talk there. I can't remember what it was all about, but they had a graph, and in that graph, it said a month-on-month growth. It was talking about how much content was published on a daily basis over a 6 or 12-month period, and it was saying that on month 1, you create 30 blogs, for example, one a day. This is your audience on month 1. Month 2, the audience is this, so the traffic increases. Now, the more content you have online, SEO and Google search and YouTube search or whatever, with call to actions and links to your website, the more crap you have online, the more people can find you. And so the interesting thing about this chart was that 80% of the traffic came from last month's blogs, because it grows in maturity and reliability with regards to YouTube algorithm. So month 1 was not much traffic, but month 2, 80% of the traffic came from last month's content. So that means there's a level of like subscribers or followers, so they like the content. And then on month 3, 80% of that traffic came from month 2 new content. Every month 30 content, 1 a day. So by month 12, 80% of that traffic, say 100,000 people, 80,000 people in that month came from the previous month's content, or probably compounded, because probably from month 1 in January, one person viewed and went to the website every month, in theory. So there's a massive prerogative to create more than you consume, create and share, define your target audience, understand them from different angles and different psychographics and different metrics as well, and create content that answers their problems perfectly, understand their needs perfectly, and share it and talk to them about what their needs and problems are. And also at the same time, I'm not sure if you were at the start of the video for this, Andrew, but AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. I believe there's 2 more to that. One at the end, which is to do with like post-purchase, and one at the very beginning. And that one at the very beginning is dialogue. So that essentially means is that there are people out there that are either your target audience or like the would-be customers and would-be audiences, and they're essentially saying, they're searching for stuff. I need answers. Give me help. Give me help. They're looking and searching and they want stuff. And if you're not there on the other side of that to say, oh, you want the answer to something, oh, here's the answer. Here you go. Give me. Here's the answer. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. If you're not there, if you don't exist, no content, for example, or no blogs or videos or infographics or cheat sheets or whatever, there's loads of them, loads of examples. That's something I must add to the book, actually. If you're not there, then you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So let me jot something down before I forget it. On content type, video, blog. Okay, must add that for my book later on. Just a little idea that little chapter, which is extra few pages. So so you essentially want to create content that's perfect for them, and then do it on scale. Do it on scale and talk to your audience perfectly, because when you start talking to them, they begin to know, like, and trust you. And when they know, like, and trust you, you've got massive reliability. Trust is very valuable these days. So, create content on a few different metrics, and you also want to create content by certain benchmarks as well. What I've learnt, or what I call now, is the VRINE model. VRINE. I added the E, so most of that I've already learned from a mentor of mine, but E, I added that. And these are just benchmarks. There's certain criteria you want to create the content by. And also the PVPI formula as well. That's more to do with like business strategy, which is that's a combination of a few different people that I've known. So you want to use those to create content and share it with the world. And there's a LSD. It's like the acronym I might probably use, which is you got to love what you're doing. You got to have a specialized audience or a specialist audience. It's going to be very, very niche. Not too fond of that word niche, but very monopoly. And discoverability. You've got to create your content by certain parameters and certain definitions. Because if you fail to understand how the YouTube algorithm works, or how YouTube works, or not creating content by certain standards, then you're missing out on traffic, missing out on SEO, missing out on attention, missing out on trust. So LSD, you got to love what you're doing because it's long term. If you can't effort LSD, love what you're doing because if it's not long term, you're going to burn out. Specialized audience because you've got to be specific, very, very specific, perfect cans of soup, the perfect products, the perfect answers for this person, for that person, very specific and go on scale, long tail, and then discoverability. You've got to follow a certain benchmark to create content that they care about. One of them is what's called the 3 Ys. 3Y. So there's also like 3 Ds as well, and probably 3 Rs. 3 Rs, 3 Ys, and 3 Ds. And probably like 3 everything else as well. But yeah, they had like 3 Rs, 3 Ys, 3 Ds. These are certain questions that you can use to break down certain certain angles, it's a way of getting to the emotional angle of a conversation, because see, we are emotional creatures, and if you can figure out what the emotional angle, why should people care about your content? If you can figure out the emotional angle for that, then you can create content based purely on emotion, and emotion is much more popular than just logic or just reason. And if you can talk, if you can appeal to the emotional part of the human brain, your content goes and this what's called social selling. It goes right under the radar of all their barriers, all the defenses. I don't know. Okay, I'm getting some ideas for the book now. You see, we are very defensive when it comes to being sold. We understand sales, and we're very much reluctant to be sold to. But if it's under the radar, where it's like, here's a blog that answers your question, here's a link to learn more, and it's a product page. Hey, they're on the product page. Next step then is, are they the right kind of audience? That's why you need specialized audience, because you don't want to get anyone to your website. You want to get very specific people, like qualified leads, because the more qualified they are, more specialized they are, the more willing they are to buy your stuff. So there's a blog aimed at people, let's say, how to drive a car. So people are searching, I want to learn how to drive a car, and you're a driving instructor. And then you'd say something like, here's a blog, how to turn the engine on for starters, or how to close the door, how to get your seatbelt on, how to change gears, how to get into reverse, how to reverse around the corner, stuff like that. Do a video on each of those. How to reverse around the corner, do a blog on that, and then it's like, here's like step 1, step 2, either doing verbally and or written, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then at the end saying, if you want to learn more, if you want to learn how to drive, click here and book a session. And that then takes them to the checkout page, which like to, or checkout page, or your phone number or something like that. Preferably checkout page. It's much more consistent. And it's like 1 hour is whatever quid, buy now, done. And that's it. Do that on scale. Just do that on scale. With that's about 30%, 20% of it, but that's the Varn. That's like the basics of it. Just do that on scale. If you're a driving instructor, go out on there and just do a video playlist. Do a video series on how to reverse around the car, how to get in the car, how to turn the engine on, how to do this, how to clean, how to check the fuel, check the oil, all this kind of stuff. How to pass your driving license, easy way to pass your theory test, for example. That's a video. That's a blog. That's an infographic right there. Because all that information, all those Q&A, that's going through the dialogue, Ada, dialogue, Dida, what's going through their head, each dialogue, each question is a potential touching point. And the more those you got, the more trustworthy, more reliable you are. And it's like, that's why it's totally scalable. That's why I say, just do long tail en masse. Because the massive prerogative is just, to create more content. Because what's the downside? You're gonna get more traffic, in theory, more subscribers, more sales. It's like, yeah, they sell themselves. The customers will sell themselves. Because if it's like, I want to learn how to drive, and there's a video here, basics of driving. Click here to check out the engine. Click here to learn how to handle the car. Click here about specialized maneuvers that the government want you to pass, and all the rest. Click here to how to pass your theory. And those are playlists, those are blogs, and each of those have got a link to something else, an upsell. It's essentially upselling on scale through under the radar selling. And I'm going to write a book on that. Because it's like, well, why the hell not? It's in here. Share it with the world. Do your idea justice and share it with the world. Now, we're approaching 1 hour. So 59 minutes and 32 seconds. I think I'm going to leave it here, actually. It's 8 o'clock, 3 minutes past 8. I think I'll leave it at this for today. Get the ball rolling. I wanted to do this broadcast just to start the habit, to ignite the habit, just to get it going. Just to get it going, just to say, I'm going to do this, and it's like, I've done it. Okay, now you've done it once. Doing that first time was always the hardest. Second time, third time, fifth time, easy. Whatever, who cares? So Andrew, I think you've been on here the longest. Well, you have been on here the longest. Planet Sim. I don't know where I found him. And Andy Case. Andy. I can't. Oh yeah, that's all right then. So, Andy, I'm just curious. And reliable Andrew, whereabouts in the world are you? Andrew, whereabouts in the world are you? Must get into the habit also of looking at the camera as opposed to my eyes on the screen. See, my eyes are there, but the camera is there, so I'm trying to get into that habit. But Andrew, I'm very curious, before I go, whereabouts in the world are you? Where are you, Andrew? Right. Well, look, you must have been at least here for 40 minutes or so, I believe. At peak, I had 3 viewers about half an hour ago for like 5 or so minutes. And then someone else came along, which I believe that was that Planet Sim. 15 odd minutes ago. Yeah. Comments. Alright, okay. So yeah, so this is all new to me, this live broadcast. I'm going to leave it here then. Andrew, reliable Andrew, I'm very curious as to where you're from in the world. So I'm going to have to schedule this out, plan it all out, the diary, and put it on the YouTube banner header. So if new subscribers know that I go live. Maybe update the YouTube video, the channel video as well. I'm not quite sure. Oh, actually, yeah. Anyway. So yeah. Anyway, it's been an hour, which is nice. That's some nice numbers, some nice numbers to work with. I am gonna get going now. Not quite sure, but maybe tweak a few more things. 8 o'clock. Not gonna do too much work. Not really in the mood for it. We'll see what happens anyway. I'm gonna end this. It was great having you on the on the show. It was great having you on the live stream, Andrew. I'm looking forward to seeing you again and getting more people on here. But I will see you all again. How cool is that? Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.